Hey everyone, what's going on? Jeff here from Films at Home, and today's video is going to be the first of this type that I've ever done, but because I have so many 4K releases that I've either picked up from Black Friday sales or that I've gotten in recently from the different studios, I'm just going to do this 4K roundup. We're going to go through 7 different 4K titles in this review. We'll give a condensed, shortened review of each one of them, but it'll be a good idea for you guys to watch this. It'll cover many different 4K upgrades especially, as well as a couple of new releases, and it'll really give you a good idea whether these are worth upgrading or not. Some of them are new releases that haven't even come out yet, but a lot of them are recent, even if they aren't brand new. So hopefully this gives you a good idea. We'll talk about video, audio, and whether I think it's worth upgrading over the Blu-ray, and I'll talk about where I got each of these. So stay tuned for all that. At this point, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. Lots more great content coming on 4K, movie collecting, home theater. You want to be subscribed for that and have your notifications on. And with that being said, let's jump right into this. So the first title I'm going to cover is from Well Go USA and Neon, who used to be Draft House Films. And this is Possessor, a movie directed by Brandon Cronenberg, who's David Cronenberg's son. So if you like that sort of stuff, Brandon Cronenberg is very similar to his father in terms of filmmaking and style, but he does have his own kind of unique take. Possessor was a really fun movie. I liken this to like the movie Upgrade, the movie Looper. If you kind of take like technology and futurism and mix all that with kind of like hitmen and execution and mind swapping, that sort of thing, that's what you get in Possessor. It's a graphic movie. It's pretty violent. It's about an hour and 45 minutes, and it was a lot of fun though. It was really a cool sci-fi horror movie. Now the 4K on this, it's a 4K digital intermediate, so it was shot digitally but was finished at 4K. It has a really strong 4K image. Now it uses a lot of different sources. There's some flashback scenes. There's some of the, when the minds are mixing and mind swapping. There's some different camera tricks and things that they use. But when it's just traditionally shot and you're seeing a pretty traditional 4K image, it is fairly stunning. It's a really nice release from Well Go USA. Just HDR10, but really nice colors and great structure. Now the audio is just a DTS HD 5.1, but that's about all you need. An Atmos on this could have been nice, but you don't really need it. It's not a really big, epic movie. It's a bit smaller in scope, and the 5.1 sounded great, had no issues with it. Dialogue was very clear, and it's a solid mix. But if you like sci-fi, horror, David Cronenberg's movies, check this one out, Possessor. This is the uncut version from Brandon Cronenberg, and it was just released. So Well Go USA, check that one out. Now next up here, this is from Paramount, and this is Collateral, 2004 movie, Jamie Foxx, Tom Cruise. The movie's a lot of fun. It's very interesting, but this 4K release is a bit subpar. This was one of the early movies that was shot completely digitally, and in 2004, digital cameras just weren't anywhere near the level that they're at now. So the source quality is just not great. There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of artifacts, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. The quality just wasn't there. I don't blame this 4K transfer, I blame the source. But I do think it's a 2K intermediate. This is a 4K upscale, and the 4K just really didn't do much for the movie. If you have the Blu-ray, you're going to be fine with that. I don't think there's really anything you're missing out on, and I couldn't recommend to upgrade this at release. I would say you've got to wait for a sale on this one. It's not really a title that benefits from the 4K resolution. It doesn't really have a ton of benefits from HDR, so overall it's a bit of a miss on 4K video. Now the audio on this is just a 5.1 DTS HD, same as the Blu-ray disc, so no real upgrade there on 4K either. So at this point, I would say Collateral is pretty much a pass unless you can get it for a good deal, maybe $5 to $7. There are some slight noticeable upgrades, but if you have your Blu-ray copy, you're going to be just fine with that. Now the next couple are also from Paramount, and they're both Eddie Murphy movies. First one is Beverly Hills Cop. Now this is an interesting 4K release because this was released 4K digitally last year. The whole Beverly Hills Cop series was released digitally on 4K. And then we got a 4K mastered Blu-ray, but not a 4K disc. And then for some reason, Paramount went back and now they're putting out a 4K disc. Now, unfortunately, this isn't Paramount's best effort on 4K, but I don't think that's because of what they've done. I think it's because the Blu-ray that they put out was already so good. If they had just released this 4K without doing a 4K mastered Blu-ray first, you'd probably see a more noticeable leap from the previous Blu-ray releases. But because a lot of people already spent on the 4K mastered Blu-ray of this, I don't think you'll see a ton of people upgrade. There isn't a huge upgrade anyway from audio. You're just talking 5.1 DTS HD again. The new Blu-ray already had that track, so you're not really gaining a whole lot here. HDR, somewhat noticeable upgrades, but the resolution and the remaster was already pretty good on the Blu-ray disc, and so you're not really seeing that massive leap to 4K. This is another one that I'd say you probably need to wait for a sale, or I know cardinal sin, but you could buy all of them 4K digital, or at least wait. I think there's a new Beverly Hills Cop movie coming, and they may do a 4K set of all of them after that. But for right now, I would pause on Beverly Hills Cop. Don't necessarily think it's one that you need to rush out to upgrade. Now, next up from Paramount, another Eddie Murphy movie. This is Coming to America. I have the Steelbook here. There's also a standard release, but this is a very nice 4K transfer. They did a great job with Coming to America. Colors are vibrant, HDR is popping, and it has a really nice audio track as well, which is always a nice thing to see upgraded. Now, this release does come with Dolby Vision HDR, and that's where you're going to see the most noticeable upgrade, but there's also this new 4K transfer, which is much better than previous Blu-ray releases, and if you're still sitting on a DVD, I think you'll be blown away by Coming to America. As good as it's ever looked, and Paramount did a great job with this one. So Coming to America, that's one I can recommend for an upgrade. If you get the Steelbook, it actually comes with a poster as well, which is right on the inside cover. That's kind of cool. Standard release won't have that, but there's a couple options here. The Steelbook is pretty nice. Nothing really crazy on the back or the front, just pretty standard artwork, but a much better job and a much bigger leap than Beverly Hills Cop. So Coming to America is one that I would say, if you're a fan of the movie, is going to be worth it. Next up, this is a purchase that I made during Black Friday sales. It's from Sony, who does an excellent job with 4K releases. I've become a real fan of Sony 4K. I've got their TV, their releases have been great. I'm thinking about going and getting a Sony 4K player as well to upgrade there. But Sony does an awesome job with this format. And this one was District 9, picked this up for about $8 Black Friday. Still had the slipcover, which was really cool. And this is an awesome movie. I love this movie. When this movie came out, I watched it multiple times. It's Neil Blomkamp, who's now done. He did Chappie, he did Elysium, and he's been rumored to be working on Alien movie, I think, and he was rumored to work on a Halo movie for a long time based on the video game. None of that really happened, but District 9 is awesome. Now, it's a 2K upscaled to 4K. Even though it was shot in 4K, it was downscaled to 2K for the release for digital intermediate because it has so many visual effects. So that being said, the CGI does stand out a little bit more in 4K, but it's not noticeable. And the rest of the movie, considering it was shot at 4K and downscaled, looks really nice in this 4K format. So while this movie looks incredible and is a solid upgrade, the biggest upgrade for this one is the audio and the fact that we're going to a Dolby Atmos track. District 9 is certainly a movie that can benefit from Dolby Atmos. There is a lot going on, lots of sound effects, and the Dolby Atmos track here is near reference quality. A very, very good Dolby Atmos track. And for that reason alone, at the price point that this has been going for, if you're going to buy the Blu-ray for $5, spend the $9, $10 on this, get the 4K, and it's worth that for the upgrade as well. So this is one you'll want to keep an eye out for. If you like the sci-fi genre and you haven't seen this, please watch this movie. It is incredible, but Sony did a good job with this 4K transfer, and I would recommend it. Now we've got two more here, two more to go, and one from Universal and one from Lionsgate, both of which I purchased on Black Friday. First one's from Lionsgate and is Requiem for a Dream. Bought this for $8 on 4K during the Black Friday sales, which was a great deal considering it's a fairly recent release. And they really did a good job on this. Darren Aronofsky He worked on some of the remastering from what I've heard, and this is the 20th anniversary edition, and the 4K transfer here is really, really nice. It's a noticeable upgrade over the Blu-ray, but mostly because of the HDR. There's a lot of different color palettes in this movie, and the colors sort of they change kind of drastically with the characters' moods. And although it's not a fun movie to watch, I wouldn't say this is an easy movie to watch. I think it's one that you should watch. And the 4K release at $8, that was an absolute steal because it has an incredible 4K transfer that was clearly supervised and well produced by the entire team. I should mention as well that this does have Dolby Vision HDR, which is always a nice thing to see. And then on the audio front, we do have a new Dolby Atmos track. Now, this is a movie that I don't think benefits from Atmos as much as, say, a District 9, but it is a movie that has some really interesting sound, and the score, especially the soundtrack to this movie, really benefits from that Atmos upgrade. So overall, a very nice package. Lionsgate's done a nice job, upgraded to 4K, upgraded with Dolby Vision HDR, and upgraded with Dolby Atmos. It's hard to go wrong there for $8. Just viewer be warned, that movie is definitely not for everyone. And now the last movie on the list, I wanted to upgrade this to 4K for some time, and I finally found it again. $8 on Black Friday. This is a Universal title, and it is Casino, Martin Scorsese movie. Obviously, it's a very well-known movie. It is a long movie, as most Scorsese movies are, but this 4K transfer is really well done. Obviously, coming from film, upgrading to 4K, you're going to see a nice bigger bump over the Blu-ray. And that Blu-ray release previously available was okay, but this 4K definitely adds some pop. The HDR certainly helps, and it has a new DTS-X audio track, which was not previously available. That is sort of the DTS equivalent to Dolby Atmos. Previously, you had a DTS HD 5.1. So anytime you can upgrade both the audio, get a much better 4K picture on a movie that was originally filmed, on film, you can go back and do such a great transfer. The HDR color grading was solid, and you've got that upgraded audio, so it's a really great package overall. You're definitely getting your money's worth for $8, and even if you found it for 10 or 12, that's a pretty solid upgrade in my opinion. Universal did a very good job with this release. Not one of the most impressive releases I've ever seen, but I'd say it's much better than Goodfellas, which is one of my 4Ks that I'm really not happy with. Casino was a much better 4K disc. All right, so that's all of them. That's all 7 4K movies that I've picked up recently. Wanted to get this out there because a lot of them are coming out soon. A lot of them have been available and will probably continue to be available for good sale prices heading into the end of the year. So I wanted to give you guys all a heads up on these and what I thought about them. Really, some of the highlights of this set, I would say Coming to America is a major highlight. District 9 and Requiem for a Dream are both major highlights. And Possessor, don't sleep on this one. This is a really, really cool movie, and it has a great 4K transfer, a true 4K digital intermediate shot digitally. Always looks really clean on your TV, so you're going to be happy with the quality, but also a little known movie. I didn't see this get a lot of hype, but a really cool movie, so I recommend that one a lot. So I'll leave links to all these down in the description so you guys can check them out and purchase them. If you use those links, that helps support my channel, so I appreciate that. Also, make sure you check out all the other links and ways you can support. You can become a member on the channel for $2 a month. That just passively supports what we're doing here, creating all of this content for free. You can also follow me on Instagram. There's PayPal donation links. There's all kinds of things you can do to support the channel, and I appreciate all of it. So thank you all for your support. Let's keep growing those subscribers. Let's get to 100,000 by the end of next year. That'd be awesome. We're going to keep going. More 4K reviews, home theater stuff coming your way, so stay tuned for all that. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.